It's your boy Spank Dog, aka Puffinstein at YouTube. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna take a look. Trump had a fall earlier. You know, he was walking up the steps of Air Force One and he fell on the steps. This was after he sent out the National Guard in LA over the protest. They were blocking the bridge. Let's just get right into it.
We have multiple angles of Donald Trump falling up the stairs of Air Force One after holding an impromptu press briefing on the tarmac in Bedminster, New Jersey. Now, this is the first time Donald Trump has been seen on camera since mobilizing the California National Guard last night against the will of the California Governor Gavin Newsom, against the will of the people, and mobilizing the National Guard for a small scattered protest is a hugely disproportionate use of force. Now, I'm going to break this down because Donald Trump then stood on the tarmac next to Marco Rubio and gave incredibly unsatisfactory answers to the questions about the National Guard, to the questions about the Insurrection Act. And I never, ever want to hear Trump or any other MAGA Republican use the word insurrection after this dude actually made his fans storm the Capitol. All right, we'll break all this down. And we'll get to Trump falling over, trust me. But I want to start with some of the more important issues, such as the National Guard being mobilized and maybe the bill. Check out this clip of Trump talking about an insurrection.
I listen to the kid Mockler. You know, every time I see a video of his, he's never being extra. He always, you know, tells it like it is. You got to understand, too, he's so mature for his age. When I turn on his video, I'm almost always ready to hear something important because he doesn't really waste anybody's time. You know, he posts a lot of videos, and I've yet to turn on a Mockler video and not instantly hear something that is important to me or makes a lot of sense.
Yes, we're going to be watching it very closely. And when they spit at people, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military, which they do as a common thing.
Yeah, like the way he says it, he said it like if they spit or they hit, they will be taken care of. When he was talking about Elon Musk not too long ago, he said if he does that, he'll be sorry. I've never heard other presidents say stuff like it's petty. You know, I know to ignore most problems. It seems like he's too infantile to even understand that he's the president. You're not supposed to even comment on what you're gonna do to a person who's a civilian, who's a constituent. Like you're stooping to their levels. You're the president.
Here to answer the question.
Get up to them this far away, and then they start spitting in their face. That happens, they get hit very hard. What are the rules of engagement for federal troops? We'll see what happens. If we think there's a serious insurrection or less than that, we're going to have law and order. Very important.
How would you define an
Insurrection.
You have to really just have to look at the site. You have to see what's happening. Last night...
He's such an idiot. The dude asked him, how would you define an insurrection? And he said, you just have to look and see what's happening. Donald Trump should know exactly what an insurrection is. He caused the last one. He tried in 10 different extra legal ways to pressure election officials into overturning election results in Georgia, in Arizona, and other swing states. Then, after none of that worked, he held a rally walking distance from the Capitol and basically just riled up the entire crowd. The crowd walks over, storms the Capitol at the exact same date and same time. I'm sorry to rehash all of this. You know, I'm not sorry. We have a nearly senile, cognitively declining president who doesn't know what an insurrection is, who falls up the stairs, who I'm pretty sure cannot read.
He said who falls up the stairs. I'm going to tell you something. If you're ignorant to what kind of person Trump is by now, you deserve what you get.
You know, I want to connect this in because we have a lot of reports that Trump...
Just don't take us down with you. You understand? Like, you're voting this man in who's no good, in my opinion. And it's fact to me, but still, I know other people don't agree, so I'll say opinion. But like I said, if you don't realize by now, you're ignorant. He's blatantly doing stuff that should make alarms go off. Your spidey sense should be tingling.
Trump hasn't been doing his daily presidential briefings. You know, the briefings full of highly sensitive material that, you know, key him in on global and domestic matters so he's prepared and has the tools at his disposal to deal with them. Well, he doesn't have the tools. He's not prepared. And it's a function of him not going to any of his presidential daily briefings. He went to 12 out of the first 100 days. And now we have reports that Trump could get Fox News style intel briefings because he, quote, doesn't read. We don't even know if he knows how to read. He has other people type out his True Social posts. And, you know, I'm sure to some extent,
Makla got the Nordic on. Makla's floss and he got the drip.
Trump can read and sound out words. We've seen him do it on teleprompters, but he still sounds out words. As I said, President Donald Trump's National Intelligence Director, Tulsi Gabbard, is looking for ways to change the president's intelligence briefings to align with his media consumption habits because he's such an old, withering idiot that he only watches Fox News. Here's Donald Trump again talking about the Insurrection Act.
California, are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection.
Do you think there is, sir?
No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
You know, watching Donald Trump fall down the staircase, not only from one angle, but we have multiple angles. Watch this. Then he trips. It really paints a picture of somebody who's getting absolutely rolled by Vladimir Putin. We have this old ass commander in chief, and as a function of his age, every time he hops on the phone call with another authoritarian leader, he gets.
The fall isn't that bad. Just I'm an honest person. You know what I'm saying? Makla's my dude, but the fact of the matter is, it looks like he just stumbles. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it speaks towards his age, him being elderly, or, you know, I think he just tripped. You know what I'm saying? People trip, you know, and he's under a lot of scrutiny at all times. So he might, a walk up the steps for him isn't like a walk up the steps for a normal person. He knows cameras are on him.
And I don't mean to deflect this from Trump's age over to Russia, but I think they're combined. I think every single time Trump engages with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, number one, he's like psychologically compromised. Number two,
you can't expect him to do well with Vladimir Putin because he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I do not understand how he is our president. And when he talks to Putin, if you see how he leads the country, the whole tariff thing and everything, I don't understand how a person would think that he would go talk to Putin and it would go well. Or Putin wouldn't undermine him because Putin is vicious, but he's a war criminal. It isn't allegedly, it's fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they get their hands on him, the Geneva Convention, he's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know what goes on up top like that, but, you know, it's supposed to be where he's a criminal and he's wanted right now as we speak.
Watch this man slipping up on his way. Boom. He falls. And you know what? Just to zoom out, I have a feeling Trump in the back of his head went, oh, shit. Oh, shit. I bet the camera saw that. This dude has zero self-awareness whatsoever. But what he does understand is how he generally comes across on camera. And a lot of the times when he does the unhinged act, he knows he's doing the unhinged act. A lot of the times he knows how he comes across. So there's a reality where Trump was incredibly embarrassed about this. And he might even post about it if we blow this up enough. Make sure you drop a like and make sure you spam some blue hearts, because if we blow this up enough and it's like a huge story, I bet you would get a post from him saying, Sleepy Joe Biden used to fall every day and I fall one time. Also, I'm not in the Epstein files. Also, Russia is not rolling me. This says, Gabbard has apparently consulted current and former intelligence officials for solutions. One possibility would be to turn the briefings into videos styled after Fox News. So our president can only consume information if it's in the form of Fox News propaganda because he doesn't read, because he's uneducated, and honestly, a president that only consumes Fox News, it actually makes sense why he's so appealing to the broad swath of the country that only watches Fox News. Imagine getting all of your information from Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters and used to be Tucker Carlson, and then you see Trump out there and he's regurgitating the same Fox News talking points. You're going to think this guy is brilliant. It only confirms your worldview. And in reality, he has no clue what he's talking about. The president's daily brief is currently a daily digital document containing texts, graphics, and images. In order to carry out this new approach, the National Intelligence Director's Office could even hire one of Fox News' talking heads and one of the network's producers. Gabbard herself was a paid contributor to the network. Trump has received the PDB, which can influence the president's decisions, just 14 times since he took office, according to his public schedule. It's called the Daily Briefing. This is absolutely insane. He had received the briefing 55 times during this same time in 2017. President Joe Biden had received 90 presidential daily briefings by this time, meaning he did them actually every day so he could make informed, calculated decisions that aren't swayed by Fox News, aren't swayed by cognitive decline.
Fox News is horrible. When I watch Fox News, I get nauseous. And that's not even me taking a shot at them. Like, when I watch it, I get disgusted. I can't believe that that's their outlook, that that's their viewpoint. You know, they'll say the most outlandish stuff. Like, it'll be obvious that you should have compassion for the person, but not Fox News. It could be a little kid getting deported and they don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be like, well, he's an alien. First of all, the human being you're referring to is a child. He's not an illegal alien. You know, well, he don't have papers. Like, still refer to him as a human being. I've seen toddlers in court. That's ridiculous.
I mean, what if Trump was actually reading about the relentless bombs that Russia was dropping on Ukraine? Maybe it would change his opinion a bit. Maybe he wouldn't be so one-sided with this war. I want to end this video by highlighting all of the stuff going on right now. While yes, Donald Trump is cognitively declining. Yes, it is important to talk about him falling over as the president of the United States.
He's getting old. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he talked about Sleepy Joe like he was much younger than Sleepy Joe. I don't know exactly the ages.
There's also the big ugly bill that is making its way through the Senate. We also have Elon Musk accusing him of the Epstein list. He's trying to sweep that under the rug and possibly
the big ugly bill. The bill that takes all the money from the have-nots, even the middle class. I would believe even the upper middle class. The big ugly bill takes from everybody and gives it to the rich.
Distracted by mobilizing the National Guard, but that in and of itself isn't a distraction. That is a key issue as well. While all of this happens, we have trade deals falling through with every country on the planet, basically, because Trump, for some reason, decided to start a war with the world on trade. At the same time, we have peace deals that are falling through. Israel will not stop striking Gaza. At the same time, Russia will not stop striking Ukraine. Ukraine is beginning to retaliate because Trump has proven to be ineffective. And even the peace deal, I say that loosely, that he negotiated between India and Pakistan immediately fell through.
Big shout to the Ukraine, man. Salute. I've never seen a more resilient country. They're lucky to have a leader like Zelensky, because if they would have had another leader, a coward, a person without a brain, without military intelligence, they would have been in trouble. First of all, you see what he's doing to the Ukraine. First of all, you're supposed to attack the military, not civilians. You know, that alone, you already know.